Making the United States of America. We can start there with tariffs. What are we talking about? No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, 18%. It is the highest, Omar, the highest since the 1930s, up from, get this, just 2% last year. As I'm going to talk about in this segment, I can't think of a more influential president during this century, and it starts here with tariffs. He said he was going to raise tariffs, and despite the claims otherwise, he is in fact doing that. The effective tariff rate at this point looks to be 9 times as high as it was last year, the highest since the 1930s in FDR, Omar.
And the effective tariff rate is up from 2% last year, for those that might see the banner there. Tariffs, though, aren't the only way Trump's remaking policy in America, right?
It is not the only way that Trump is remaking America. What are we talking about? Well, let's jump. The other big thing that Trump ran on, right, was immigration. How about net migration into the United States? Get this, it's down. It's going to be down at least 60%. We may be dealing with, get this, negative net migration to the United States in 2025. That would be the first time there is negative net migration in this country in at least 50 years. We're talking about down from 2.8 million in 2024. So Donald Trump has always run on tariffs, and he's run on a hawkish line on immigration. And on both of those issues, we are seeing record high tariff rates for this century going all the way back, well back into the early part of the 20th century. And when it comes to immigration, net migration, we are seeing record low levels, way down from where we were during the Biden administration. We are potentially looking at negative net migration for the first time in at least 50 years. And that is a big reason why that I'm saying that Trump, at least in my mind, is the most influential president, certainly this century, and probably dating a good back chunk into the 20th century as well, Omar.
So when you say most influential, I mean, statistically, how much is Trump doing?
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about this. How about executive orders? Already, 180 executive orders signed by Donald Trump this year. You have to go.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Heaven.
I'm Doc.
My name is Ken Billions. What up?
We have a special guest, Ken. So y'all just saw the video, basically CNN of all places praising Trump for tariffs and for immigration. Doc, how do you feel about that? Is Trump the most influential president in the last 100 years?
As much as I would like to be the person to like disagree, I think so, maybe. Actually, I don't know if it's all for the right reasons, and I don't know if it's all for positive reasons, but I think influential, I think he may be the most influential. I mean, he's pretty much started his own party, just about. So I don't know if all of those are good reasons, but I would, now that I'm thinking about it, he probably is.
Okay, Ken, how do you feel about Trump? Do you feel like what he's doing effective? Do you feel like he's the most influential president?
I don't know if it's effective. I would definitely agree he's the most influential, him and Obama. I've been knowing Donald Trump, well, visually since I was little. He was on Home Alone, right? He's pretty much been able to stay in the news cycle my entire life. And the way he's been able to parlay different careers, I don't really measure him as, is he a good dude or is he a bad dude? I just look at the moves. And in terms of the moves, he's been really doing his thing since I was a little kid. So in terms of influence, I would go with him and Obama for sure.
Heaven, what about you?
Influential, it doesn't denote good or bad. So influential, yes. And to go off what Doc said, I think he's gone a little bit further than making his own like party. He's making his whole own I don't know what it is because it sure ain't democracy and it sure ain't the Constitution. So his
For
own
sure.
fascist dictatorship? Is that, I mean, I just trying to, I don't know, by definition, if we want to be precise. So I guess that's influential. I mean, he influenced, I guess, a whole lot of people to cover up the Epstein list and stuff. So, I mean, hey,
For sure.
that's a word.
So here's one of the things that he changed. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember this in school where we used to have to do like the fitness test. I know me and Doc and Heaven all actually were in the army. We had to do the PT test. So here's what Trump signed, I think last week.
Don't start. I'm just proud to be on this team. I don't know why. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing, but I'm here to serve, and I'm here to serve you. Okay, so I'm going to do the best I can for as long as I can. Thank you very much.
Nobody like him.
So basically, Trump was there to basically have fitness tests back in schools. And Lawrence Taylor, I guess he had caught a case before, so people are going at Trump for him having to call an essay case, as well as people are saying that he didn't even have a reason to be there. He's just like, I'm here to serve. So, Ken, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like his past matters? And do you feel like, him just saying, hey, I'm just here to serve, and he doesn't even know what he's doing, makes sense?
Unfortunately, when you look at history, the most complicated people tend to get things done. And when we're looking for the perfect Negro or the perfect woman or this, you know what I'm saying, you can't have said no inflammatory stuff when you was 18. You can't have a pass. I mean, the most complicated individuals have done some have some good human contribution. So that's kind of tough. I guess the audience and the crowd will have to decide what's too far. But unfortunately, sometimes the courage that we're looking for, the bravery that we're looking for, the audacity that we're looking for, the person that'll stand front line usually has a sketchy background. And the good people, right, often cowards. So that's a tough one. So the audience will have to decide collectively, like, this is how far we'll tolerate certain behavior.
Okay. Heaven, Lawrence Taylor is on the sex offender registry. Do you feel like it's appropriate for him to be at the White House?
Anyone that is on the sex offender registry should not be involved with anything to do with children. I served my country for 15 years. Gray did too. Doc did too. I'm pretty sure they don't have shady past, but they're courageous men. And I'm a courageous woman. And we have done things that majority of people can't do and won't do. And I'm not on the sex offender registry, and I'm pretty sure those two aren't either. So there are a lot of other people that don't have pasts that can be put into leadership positions. Anyone that is a sex offender, well, I mean, that goes right along with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. So I guess we have a pedophile government with, and if that's what they're going with, that seems to be the trend.
Doc,
in our government.
For sure. Doc, you're a youth football coach, and I know you work with kids. So do you feel like we need like fitness back in the schools, or do you feel like that's something that the coaches and the parents need to deal with?
You want to know what's so crazy? My daughter just told me today that she was dropping PE and she was gonna take business.
Oh,
she
wow.
was like, "Yeah, I'm dropping PE." I was like, "Hey, man, that's what you want to do." You know what I'm saying? But she's a good physical help. But I think one of the biggest things is the country has shifted on their views on these people from sex offenders, depending on the amount of fame they have. There was a time where being a rapist was something the whole community wanted to hang you upside down and castrate you for. we parade Mike Tyson around like he, you know what I'm saying, the greatest athlete to ever perform. Mike Tyson, for whatever you think or however you feel like the case went, he went to prison for rape. You know what I mean? Like, he a convicted rapist. So whatever your opinion on, that doesn't change the legal aspects of that. But I think they just changed it in society now. And I think there are hundreds of qualified athletes he could have had up there stood next to him. Some of them even support him. I think he just could have had someone different. With the allegations he has, I guess he thought, hey, you know, he was showing like, I'll bring Lawrence Taylor and to show that these aren't all bad people that you think. I guess that was his thought process. But you could have had anyone up there when you were talking about kids and athletics in school. And there's so many other athletes you could have shined the light on. I think this was a moment he kind of missed it a little bit.
And for the audience that doesn't know who Lawrence Taylor is, he had a 13-year NFL career with the New York Giants. He was drafted second overall in 1981 as a linebacker, and he became one of the most defensive players in NFL history. And he led the Giants to 2 Super Bowl victories.
And he is like universally looked at
what
as
is
the
he
best
on the sex
defensive
offender
player.
registry for?
Well, I'll tell you, he's universally looked at as like one of the best defensive players to ever play football. And Lawrence Taylor is famous for, he would have these crazy binges on cocaine, wreck the Lambo on the way to the field, to the game. And like, he was like partying, like he was just like out of control partying with these women, and they're all doing cocaine and drugs. And somehow that at one point led to him having these allegations and these things that stem from that. But he was just partying so hard and doing all these drugs.
Yeah. So basically, they say
16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
A 16-year-old girl.
Well,
I'm going to say that again. A 16-year-old girl. A child, a high school child. I sure do not want any man that has raped a 16-year-old child. I don't give a damn what his background is. He shouldn't be around kids or in charge of their fitness. Do we need fitness in the schools? Yes, absolutely. We are an extremely unhealthy population. However, 16-year-old girl.
I think the difference is to say, though, she was a 16-year-old prostitute. I don't think these dudes are ID checking. She was a prostitute. He hired her. He attempted to hire her.
There was 2 different times. One was
Lawrence Taylor ain't checking the ID
of a misconduct
and
patronizing of a prostitute in 2011, and then the 2010 incident involving a 16-year-old runaway. There are 2 different ones. So now that shows me not only was there's 2 back to back. I don't give a damn what drugs you're on. You raped a 16-year-old child. Period. And if anybody's on here defending that,
I think
you're a rapist apologist. I would not do that.
I think that opens up
a child, a daughter. That's crazy. That is wild, crazy work to me.
I think that opens up a conversation between this generation and the elders too, because the elders didn't look at 16-year-olds as children. So that definitely opens up a conversation between millennials.
My dad looked at me as a child, and I bet the fathers, elder fathers, told their 16-year-old daughters and looked at them like children. But the problem is, you don't look at a stranger's child like a child.